Right, welcome to Lisa's self-help sessions. I'm starting this week paradigm, but it's going to go on for like 4 or 5. You're all like sitting there, I'm ignoring you now. You sure? There's going to be about 4 or 5 sessions leading from this, and then after that, there'll be something else I'll be offering if you're interested in you coming back again, but that'll be optional at the end of the sessions. This is the paradigm. So I'm going to talk about it in detail. Well, I've learned these things from YouTube. Just I was obsessed with researching the paradigm, the guy who was teaching at Bob Proctor, and once I started to learn about it, I couldn't stop. Basically, it was interesting. My mind was like that in a dark place, in such a dark place years ago, that I was just got addicted to anything that helped me feel better, feel like I had some control of what was going on. So I'll start. The paradigm is a program that's set in your subconscious programming from birth. From 0 to 5, influences in your home environment, anything you're surrounded by from 0 to 5 will affect your paradigm, and that's set. That's like your beliefs, your underlying program. It's like a laptop and a hard drive. So you have your laptop, that's your conscious, and your hard drive is your subconscious. So your subconscious is programmed to default. By the age of 5, your beliefs are set, and your life will run on them beliefs, like things that will branch out from that. So you learn to control it. If you control it, or it'll control you and your choices moving forward in your life. So we say you've got a child who's been brought up in an abusive relationship, for example, and the mum and the dad are arguing, and there's a lot of slamming doors and there's a lot of things going on that's causing fear in that child. They will grow up and say for example, they're in school at 8 or 15, they're in a situation, and say they're in the care services night, and one of the staff are in there and the wind blows the door shut, and the child responds, and they might look and go, what's that about? The child probably doesn't know themselves, do you know what I mean? But that's a program that's been set in their subconscious. Obviously when they were 5, they couldn't remember it, so they're responding to that and they're not knowing why, and then they feel the fear and they don't know why they're feeling the fear, do you know what I mean? So that's set, and that will be ongoing until they grow older and become like, I become aware of it, do you know what I mean? So I'm working still now, and I'm ongoing. I made the decision years ago to change my life and my mindset, because I felt if I don't, this is just going to carry on the way it was, and I was just spiralling down. On the outside, everything was rosy, but it wasn't inside, do you know what I mean? So, involuntary. Subconscious is your involuntary beliefs and how your program runs. So you've got no choice over it, basically. You respond to something that goes on around you, and you're like, whereas one person will sit there, right, they've got no fears of a slamming door. So the door slam, it won't affect them. Somebody else who's been traumatised by that environment will respond and start maybe shaking with fear. And your conscious is your decisions, that logic and rationalising. So it's your conscious decisions like, I'm going to go to the shop, or I'm going to go make tea. They're your conscious decisions. But your conscious and your subconscious, anything that goes in, it takes it for reality. So if someone says to you, oh, tomorrow you're going to get punched in the face, your subconscious will take that in. Like it's Bible, do you know what I mean? It's a fact, it's a thing that's going to happen. But then that's your subconscious. Your conscious can choose then to, once you start learning about your mind, it's fascinating because it runs on a loop. It'll run like what goes on the loop? A YouTube playlist. It'll just run and keep running and go round and round until you put yourself in an environment that's completely different to where your beliefs have come from, do you know what I mean? So say you're 0 to 5 and brought up in a loving environment, everything brilliant, you care for it in the best way, you've got a brilliant start to go forward in your life then, because you've got beliefs that life is good, life is safe, do you know what I mean? But if it's not been the case, your life's running on that loop of what's going to happen next, and this is what was happening with me. I was on I'll talk at the end of my sessions in a few weeks' time about my own experience, what's gone on in my life, and what created the anxiety and stuff that I was feeling. If you've got any questions, anyone, while I'm rolling on here, just say, you know what I family and environment. So I've gone over that. It's your family. If you look back in your family history, it's interesting. If any of you've got your family, lucky enough to know your families, and you look back in your family history, look back in the patterns. Say like you've been brought up in an environment where there's a lack of money. You look back to your mum, it's come from her, do you know what I mean? Or your care services where you've been brought up. And then look back again to your nan and look back and you'll see a pattern of paradigm beliefs that are going forward in generations until someone like myself in my family, I'm kind of thinking I need to change this, because if I don't, it's just going to keep repeating. Your kids will have kids and their kids will have kids and it'll keep repeating. So I've changed my generations moving forward by learning what I've learned and actively changing it. As well, when you learn about this paradigm thing, you can get a lot of guilt because say you're 50 years of age and you've gone through your life with these beliefs and you've passed them on to your children, or you know what I mean, and you're looking at your children now for leading that life, you get guilt from that, but you don't need to feel guilt, but that's not come from you, that's come from your past generations, and generations again, and generations again. So I was thinking, oh my God, look what's going on, and it's because of what, you know what I mean? I was in a relationship myself that I wasn't happy in, and I left it, but that's passed on beliefs to my children then, and I felt guilt, and I thought, but then listening more to this, and how it goes back for generations, the guilt was, I don't feel it no more, it's not there, because I know it's not my fault, basically, and that's the major thing. You need to take on board that anything you've got programmed into your beliefs is not your fault, it's from generations, it's not your mum's fault, it's not your dad, your nan, your aunties, it's not their, it's their patterns of belief that's gone on for generations. So you're born with a blank canvas, you go for a brand new baby night, they've got a completely blank paradigm. They might cry if they want something sweet, things like that, but they generally, you can change the mood like that. Or if you're 2-year-olds, you'll notice they'll be crying on the floor in bits, and then a couple of seconds later they'll be laughing their head off. It changes like that, because they've got no beliefs in there, do you know what I mean? Whereas, say I'm upset, it takes more effort to change that mood, do you know what I mean? Because the beliefs that are implanted. Programming and choices. So the subconscious is a program, right? It is a hard drive. You look at a hard drive and your conscious is like a laptop. That's my version of it. That's how I'm putting it, because it just seems to make it easier to understand. So you can change your programming the way you change your hard drive. You just put different stuff in it, different things, different beliefs. And you know how you're going to do that is by surrounding yourself with the things you want to come into your life. The things that, like me, for me music, it's got me, honest to God, you'll believe what that's got me through. I'll explain that in a few weeks' time. But it just, I was on that and it was just constantly on it, and it would make me feel good. And I didn't realise, even at the time it was doing this, until I learned about this. And just doing that repetitively, doing things, changing the paradigm, it can be changed. The fact I'm stood here today, you will not believe it. I never even used to be able to sing karaoke, never mind. I never thought I'd ever do this, what I'm doing today. And I'm proud, I'm literally emotional coming up here this morning thinking, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this today. So this is proof that you can do it. I've got a YouTube channel which you'll probably find the link, or I'll give you it at some point. You can look back on me whole stories, you know what I mean, it's all there. Changing the paradigm. So how I personally change paradigm, it'll be different for everyone, right? So I'm going to tell you what I've learned. But as you look into this, you'll find your own way, your own things, you know what I mean? Mine might work for you, or obviously you can teach me things as well. I'm still learning. I made a choice a couple of years ago to change it and just find out what works, what doesn't. And then the fact of putting it out there now is just, mind blowing. So how I changed my paradigm was audio books. I got obsessed. There was a situation going on with my family and I was working away in Carlisle, or Yorkshire, 1 to 2 anyway, and I couldn't sleep. Something had gone on, I had a phone call and I was working away, I was on that trip for 2 days. And I was like, oh my God, my whole world just collapses. So I was lying in bed that night, couldn't sleep. I thought, I can't remember what brought me to it, but I started to listen to The Secret Garden, right? It's an audio book. And I found while I was listening to it, my mind wasn't ticking, I wasn't thinking. I was interested in what happens next in this story. So I listened to that for a couple of nights, and then it led on from that, and then I listened to The Secret got obsessed with that. But that's a different section altogether. This is the paradigm today. I can tell you all kinds of secret what I've learned, but that'll be down the line if you choose that, you know what I mean? Affirmations, you go on YouTube, type in positive affirmations. You can literally, I've learned everything I know today standing here from YouTube. Literally, there's no reason to go. You doctors, you can go to your doctors, that's fabulous, honestly. But if you want to do something yourself at home, no one knows you're doing it. You don't have to ring the phone and ask for any help. Put it on YouTube. I've put into YouTube how to deal with difficult people. Literally how to learn. I've learned the guitar on YouTube. I've learned all this off YouTube. Because I don't read, I'm not really into reading, it gives me anxiety, can't stand it. Look at my notes, they're a mess, because yeah, it's all that. So, affirmations, speaking to yourself, like this is a big thing. Because I'd sit there, right, and I'd look in the mirror and go, oh my God, Stacey, you today. And I was in this pattern of doing that, or I'd be driving down the road and I'd be like, oh my God, hurry up, hurry up. I got to the point where I was on 9 points on my licence. Really, like, on the verge of losing my licence because I was just rushing around, always in a wound up with things. So, speaking to yourself, if you can't catch it, after this day, I just notice how you speak, everyone speaks to themselves, let's deny it, you know what I mean, we all do. So, just notice what you're saying in your head to yourself. So, you come across a situation, and I can't even think of an example, it won't come to me in a minute. Just speak, I'm trying to think. Yeah, like I was coming in today, right? So, we had trying to say, no, do it tomorrow. All that was going on, you know what I mean, when I woke up this morning. And I started, no, and he said, no, you're going to be fine. Change it, you know what I mean? Yeah, say like you drop something thought and you go, oh my God, you divvy. Things like that. Just leave it out, just miss it out. Just catch yourself going to say it. No, I'm not saying it. That's things like that. Deserve happiness. You need to feel like you deserve it as well. That's the thing, because the paradigm is set. Say you're brought on the home where, like, most parents don't know what they're doing with effect on their children, right? So they'll say to the kids, oh, what are you doing here? That's stupid, isn't it? Or shut up, be quiet, or things like that. So that'll give you a belief then that you're not worth listening to, things, or you don't deserve any happiness in your life. So as you learn about this, you learn it's a whole spectrum of things. My mind, I feel like I'm in an absolute gold mine because it's endless what I'm learning. So you've got to learn that you deserve these things. Whatever gone in your life, whatever you've done, whatever you haven't done, that's happened because of your beliefs that have been set in you with 0 to 5. Repetition, repeat things. Like I've been listening to these audiobooks, like The Secret and things like Bob Proctor, things like that. I listen to every day. I was listening to them last night. This morning, still, like 6-7 years down the line. It's not a thing you can do for like 2 weeks and think, oh yeah, I'm going to be fine now, because it doesn't work like that. I've done that. I started doing this when I started, and then I drift off and go away from it to other things, and I find myself sliding back. It depends on obviously how much your programme needs working on. If you're generally content, happy, things like that, that's got you good to go, do you know what I mean? You can change it, no problems. But it might sound like what I'm saying, it's hard work, but it's not when you look at the life you're living at the minute, if you're struggling. I know about my own experience, if I'd have carried on, I'd have been still yet, but I wasn't living, I was just existing. I was like, just existing, going from day to day, just cracking on, chasing money, things like that, because I never thought, you know what I mean, I didn't feel worthy of anything, not even my children's love or nothing like that. My family, it just felt as though I was a pain, all that was going on. So yeah, you've got to feel like you deserve happiness, because we all deserve it, no matter what's going on, you know what I mean, whatever your circumstances. Repetition, respond, not react, this is another thing. Like in the past, say I'll be out singing and I can't even talk negative experience because I've had very few, to be honest with you. But say I've been performing, or I was in a job and there was a guy there, right, he used to say to me, oh, you're never going to get anything with music, you're just going to be just karaoke, things like that. And I used to like, I'd respond in a negative way, and then it'd leave me feeling negative. So learning about this, through other situations that have come to me, I've learned that if you don't respond to that situation, you'll walk away from it with a different mindset, you'll feel more self-respect, and the person who's just brought that to you will go away and think, they won't expect it, put it that way, and believe me, it's going to be hard. If you're used to responding to situations with anger, it's going to be hard not to do it. But just recognise, feelings come up, oh my God, there it is. That's what she was talking about. Right, I'm going to hold this in now, and I'm going to respond. And walk away, try it once, and see the difference in your self-respect and how the rest of that day goes. You'll feel proud to be able to do it. Because it's hard. If someone's coming at you or whatever, or someone says something to you, you don't agree with it, or someone's said something about you and you've got it wrong, you then want to defend yourself. But it's not worth it, really isn't. Just let it be. Let them say what they need to say. That's their point of view. That's because of their paradigm. It's not personal half the time. Someone comes at you with whatever, it's not personal. It very, very rarely is personal to you. Programmed by the age of 5, gone over that. Old beliefs will block what you want. So if you've got beliefs that there's a lack, there's nothing out there for you, you're not worthy of things. And I'm talking about this now because I'm still working on things now, obviously, because it's just how it happens. I'm learning so much. And when I listen to these audiobooks and that now, it's like I'm listening to the first time, and I've been listening to it for like 6 years, 7 years. Because the more work I'm doing, the more my brain's opening up. I'm thinking, oh my God, there's actually more than what we've been taught to believe. Do you know what I mean? So, old beliefs will block what you want. So if you believe you're not worthy of things, that's why you've got none. Because you don't believe you're worthy of it. That's it. If you're in the mindset of, I'm worthy of this, and this is possible for me to do, you'll go on there and make different choices, won't you? If you go on there, say you go for a job interview and you're going there thinking, oh, I don't deserve this job, I'm no good to these, it's not going to work. You won't get the job because that's the mindset you're in. But if you go to that job with confidence, say I went to a career interview, I'd be full of confidence that I might get the job because I know I've done it. Do you know what I mean? Or it's just that belief, even things you don't know about, you have that belief and still get it. If you're going to go there, if I went to a job interview for career right, and I walked in there thinking, oh my God, no, even with all experience, I wouldn't get it because of how my mindset is, and that's how you come across. Your body language, your facial expressions, everything speaks to that person who's interviewing you. So this is why it's important to change beliefs, and then you can change life. Literally, I've done it myself. Feel you deserve it. Feel you deserve the things you want is the thing, one of the most important things. Ignore negative thoughts, right? So when you thought your mind's in there doing its thing, like mine was doing this morning, right? You've got to look at the thought and think, it's not reality though, is it? It's really not. Honestly, when my daughter at the minute, she's had a lot of change going on in her life the past few months, and my brain's telling me all kinds, honest to God. Like, I'll be lying in bed at night and I'll think, all these thoughts are going on. The next morning I'll wake up and I'll get a message off and think, it was wrong. Do you know what I mean? How many times has your mind been wrong? Think about it. You can imagine, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, whatever, even maybe coming in today, all these thoughts about what it might be. And it's actually not the case. Your mind's not. Just don't believe it. That's all I can say to you. Don't believe it. Unless it's telling you positive things, don't believe it. Just say to yourself, yeah, but that's not how I see it. You know, like the pandemic, for example, they tell you everything's going on, like things like that. And your mind races. But my reality, personally, was not anything like what my mind was telling me it was going to be. And I look back now and think, oh my God, it's taught me so much in the past 2 years, it's just mind-blowing. I'm going to finish with this. A rose is a rose, right? So say you get a rose and you plant it in the desert, it's not going to grow, is it? So, I've done jobs like Domino's delivery, hairdressing, dog grooming, and in any of them jobs I felt I was growing, and then I got planted in care work, literally, and I grew unbelievably in my confidence, self-belief, all that. Still has all this going on, but I could feel myself progressing. Do you know what I mean? Just like, I remember saying to you, I'm thinking, oh my God, I found something I know I'm actually good at. And I was nailing it, honest to God. Loved it. So, that's a rose. If I look at me as a rose, and if I wasn't planted in care work, I was planted in to carry on doing Domino's, I'd just regress. You've got to find whatever your passion is and just chase it like your life depends on it, because it does. It does. If I hadn't had that guitar put in my hands a couple of years ago, I'd be standing here. I'd be still living, but I'd be a different person altogether, because I would never have learned what gets gets me feeling good, what my passion is. Even when people say to you, no, that's not going to work, that's rubbish, you know, good. Just hold on to it and go for it, because what's the alternative? You live a life on these loops, and you get to the end of your life, 60, 70, whatever it might be, if you're lucky, and you'll sit there and think, what was the point? But honestly, so I'm going to end on that note. I just want to thank everyone for listening to me this week, and I hope, hopefully you've enjoyed it, and come back next week. Any questions at all? I'm just going to sit down for a minute.
I think it's a challenge for you, isn't it? Because I wasn't here